What's buzzing, y'all? It's time to get higher with your girl, B. We're talking about the higher consciousness that the world needs to adopt. That's right. So, yes, welcome back, guys. For those of you who don't know me, hey, hi, hello. My name's B. That stands for Big Earth Energy. I'm an environmental artist. I creatively educate others about environmentalism and sustainability through my art. And my art is music, fashion, fun stuff like that. I rap and sing about saving the planet. So, yeah, check out my music, and I have like merch like Stingas and Earth Teas. So, yeah, check me out. And these talks right here are to promote the adoption of a higher consciousness and giving a damn about our planet. I think it's time to make giving a damn about our planet a trendy thing to do, and that's my goal. And I want to help encourage the integration of sustainability into everyday lifestyle. So if you like the content I create, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. So I love foods. So I just wanted to start the conversations here with talking about food and how we can change, because I think when I did my introduction, I talked a bit about my struggle at the beginning of learning all that there is to know about environmental issues and sustainability. I felt really overwhelmed and I felt pretty powerless, and I didn't know how I could really make a difference. But one of the first moves I made and chose to make was with my diet. So that is something we all can control. So I just thought, since it was something that I was able to do, I might explain to you guys why I chose to change my diet and how the meat industry is unsustainable. So why is the meat industry unsustainable? Well, first, raising animals for food requires massive amounts of land, food, energy, and water. So I'm going to break it down into those pieces. So let's start with land. Industrial meat is the single biggest cause of deforestation globally. What this means is we're cutting down trees to make space to raise cattle. And why is it bad to remove trees? Side note, look for a video on deforestation for a further talk into that. But in a nutshell, our trees convert CO2, which is a greenhouse gas that's contributing to the warming of our planet. It converts it into oxygen that we breathe, which is a good thing. But we're cutting them down and replacing it to raise cows that produce methane, which is a very destructive even more destructive than CO2. It's actually 86 times more potent than CO2. On top of all of this, destroying our forests also destroys habitats for other species. So the negative impacts that cattle has, or the meat industry has, on land is deforestation, adding to global warming because we're removing our trees, and threatening biodiversity. All right, now let's talk about food. Industrial livestock feed on grain mostly, and grain is something that people can eat too. But 70% of the grain that's produced in the US, it goes to feed animals in feedlots. And to make it even more devastating, it takes 16 pounds of grain just to produce 1 pound of meat. And this makes it a very unsustainable process. If the crops that we use to feed livestock worldwide were redirected for human consumption, we could feed an additional 4 billion hungry people. Now, this is where I started to pause and my wheels turned, that my choice of eating meat is causing someone else to go hungry. And if I forego it, somebody else could eat. And that was kind of the turning point for me when I started to realize, like, it's really about, like, sustainability is about leaving something for the rest of us. Like, you only take what you need and leave the rest, right? Not over consuming. So that's kind of a really important point, and where it really started to hit me. But let's keep going. So let's talk about the energy that the meat industry consumes. Each step of the food production leads to gas emissions and energy use. But is the energy really efficiently being used? So it takes about 107,482 BTUs to produce a single pound of beef, 42,922 BTUs for a pound of pork, and 15,013 BTUs for a pound of chicken. Now, that's a lot of energy, basically. But if we want to also look at energy in a different way, as far as the caloric value in the grain that gets fed to the cows, and when that's converted to the product which we eat, how much caloric value is coming back to us. For poultry, it comes back with 13% of the caloric value. Pork comes back with 8.6, lamb 4.4, and beef a whopping 1.9%. So what that means is 99.1% of the calories are lost. So not very energy efficient, if you ask me. So yeah, land, food, and energy were not that great on the charts. But let's take a look at water. Okay, so water use isn't much better. Millions of acres are dedicated to monoculture crops like grain, and these crops are treated with toxic chemicals and tons of fertilizers, which result in runoffs into our waterways. And that's not the only thing that runs off into our waterways, because a lot of animals means
poop, 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 poop.
Large manure lagoons, which are also often leaking into our water. Gross. So if it's not contamination of our water, it's consumption of our water. It takes 1,700 gallons of water to produce a pound of beef. It takes 576 gallons of water to produce a pound of pork, and 468 gallons to produce a pound of chicken. Yikes, that's a lot of water. So now that we've taken a look at lots of reasons how the meat industry is unsustainable, what can we do about it, right? I guess is the next question. So for me, like I said, it is not our fault, but it is our fight. So once we know, we can't just sit back and do nothing. But I encourage you to do something in the capacity in which you can, and what that looks like to you. For me, I became vegetarian. For some, they become vegan. For some people, they do a meatless Monday. For others, they choose a bit more of an organic and less consuming of the meat industry, and go with a grass-fed beef from farmers that are certified in sustainable practices. So there are a lot of options to minimize your footprint. So I encourage you to think about it, what you might be able to do, and drop a comment. What are you thinking about trying? I mean, you never know until you try, so let me know what you're trying out. Let me know what works for you. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is a community. I really want to bring the conversations up, have these conversations, talk about it, and I'll catch you next time. Keep it buzzing, y'all. Anything you want.